Right now at 6, new body camera video shows us what happened in the moments leading up to an officer-involved shooting. We're going to have details on the latest report from New Haven Police.
Help is on the way for people who were forced out of their homes by an apartment fire. We'll tell you the steps Hartford officials are taking to relocate everyone.
Chaos and confusion outside of a New Britain Elementary School. Kids were put under a lockdown. We're going to hear the latest in the investigation into this threat as kids get ready to head back to school this morning.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for starting yours off with us here at Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus America areas.
And I'm Tim Lambers. Good morning. We're going to start with a forecast here so you can plan your day as we get over to meteorologist Matt Scott. Sun's not up yet. We're at that point of the year.
Right?
It'll come up eventually, like you said, when we're on as long as we are.
7-hour show. We're going to see it at some point. Unfortunately, every day gets a little later and later and later. Good morning. Good to have you along on this Tuesday. Here's what you need to know. It's a familiar forecast. Sun limited, a lot of cloud coverage, but dry. That said, temperature struggling again, barely getting to 70 degrees. We are watching what is likely to become Helene. Still a tropical, just a low, but could be some high problems for Florida. We'll talk about her coming up. Satellite radar picture has a couple of clouds out there and a northeasterly flow. Not much has really changed. Still have rain off towards the west, and that rain still isn't going to play into our forecast. That hasn't changed either. 56 in Hartford, a little better this morning thanks to some clouds. 57 in New Haven, 53 in Groton, with temperatures on the way up to the upper 60s, near 70 degrees. Decent amount of clouds, a little bit of sun. The latest on what will likely become Helene and how she may play into our forecast. That's all coming up in just a few minutes. 6:02, let's go to the roads right now. And I get to say for the first time this morning, hello to Rachel Piscatelli.
Good morning, Matt. Good to see you.
Likewise.
All right, on the roads this morning, we are following one issue, and this is going to be on the Wilbercross Parkway on Route 15, northbound over in Wallingford. Reports of an overturned vehicle over on 66 and 67 left lane is blocked this morning. A live look outside over on 91. That'll be your best bet to get around that if you want to travel in a timely manner. So over on Rocky Hill 91, both directions look good this morning with light volume to your city to cities. The Elm City to Hartford, 35 minutes. Hartford to New Haven, 34. Guys, back to you.
Rachel, thanks so much. Well, this morning we are getting a look at the body camera footage from a deadly officer-involved shooting in West Haven. It happened last week. Officers say that an officer was shot and killed a man who fired at them.
Yeah, Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live at the New Haven police station with more on how that shooting unfolded. Brooke, what does the video show?
Well, we now know that that man who was shot is 36-year-old Jabrell Conley. Now, police tell us this isn't their first run-in with him, and he has a pretty long list of priors. But even with that being said, this is, of course, not the outcome that they wanted from this situation. But you can see the moments leading up to the shooting unfold here. Now, that's between the body camera from the police officers. It's also from witness video that we have from that scene. This is all from the situation on Thursday evening. That's when West Haven officers got reports that Conley was at the Splash Car Wash. Conley had warrants out for robbery and firearm charges. Upon arrival, officers used their cars to block him in. At the same time, Conley got back in the driver's seat of his Hyundai SUV. When they approached his door, officers tried to physically pull him out, and that's when he fired a gun. Police say he was using a stolen gun out of Waterbury with an extended magazine. They tell us his shot shattered the passenger side window, causing all three officers to back away and start firing their guns. Police say Conley was shot in the upper body. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The chief tells us he's spoken with Conley's family. They say his death was unnecessary and Conley wouldn't have hurt police on purpose. He says it appears the officers followed their training.
The officers put themselves between Conley with a handgun and other innocent people that were in the parking lot. We don't want to do this. We don't want to shoot people. It's very unfortunate, but the officers did what they had to do.
And the Inspector General's office says they still have a long way to go in this investigation. In fact, it could take up to another year for them to complete all of that evidence, going through everything that happened. Of course, as we learn more, we'll get that out to you. Live in New Haven, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Brooke, thank you. It is 6:04 this Tuesday morning. Students at an elementary school in New Britain will return to school this morning after a threat disrupted classes yesterday. And as Fox 61's Matt Karen reports, police are still trying to figure out who made that threat against Vance Elementary School.
It's the message no parent wants to get, that there's been a threat at your child's school. I could see the panicked and uncertain look on parents' faces as they spent hours not knowing if their child was okay, now hugging them a little tighter.
Oh my God, I hope these kids is all right.
11 a.m., Vance School, New Britain, chaos.
We got a message and we just dropped everything and came running to the school.
And confusion.
It's like a feeling where your heart's gonna come out of your chest.
Police ran to surround the elementary school, guns drawn.
I am shaken.
Following a threatening phone call to the main office.
The call was specific, threatening to say that there was an armed person within the building.
Parents quickly catching word of the incident and descended on the school, still not knowing if their children and grandchildren were safe.
Texas, Columbine, all these schools shouldn't be happening. This is crazy for all our kids to have to go through this.
New Britain police,
everything's good inside, okay?
Did their best to calm the crowds.
We're all moms and dads too, so I understand.
Eventually getting word there was no active threat and no one was hurt.
I can breathe again.
Creating lines for kids to be dismissed early, one by one.
Is everything okay? What happened?
Families reunited again.
We were having a big lockdown and that was so scary. But some just told us to stay in the corner, and then the police talked to us and said, "Is everybody okay?" And we said yes.
What do you want to say to Mom?
That I love her.
From social media threats to swatting incidents like this, parents tell Fox 61 it's a world they don't recognize.
Completely. I never imagined this would be a reality for my first grader.
Not being able to get to your child in time, knowing that they're in there crying and screaming.
Empty threats meant only to divide and disrupt.
Schools are supposed to be a place to learn. Schools are supposed to be a place where children are happy.
New Britain police say they'll be launching a full-scale investigation to determine who made that phone call. Meanwhile, school officials say classes will resume normally on Tuesday, but with an increased police presence and more mental health counselors. Reporting in New Britain, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Matt, thank you. Well, this morning, people in Hartford who were displaced by an apartment fire last month do have some answers about moving into better temporary housing.
Yeah, those tenants at Concord Hills Apartments have been speaking out about living in motels that they say are dirty and unsafe. And now the city has a plan to get them out of there. So Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro is joining us live right outside those apartments with the latest on the plan moving forward. Angelo.
Erica, Tim, good morning. And this apartment building is still empty this morning after last month's fire displaced more than 100 people, forcing them out of their homes into these motels. Well, now the city says the plan is to start moving those people into even better housing situations starting today. Still waiting to hear back from the mayor's office about what exactly this process is going to look like in the coming days and weeks. Of course, we'll keep you updated on that front. But this all comes after the tenants union says that the city failed to adequately house people displaced by this fire and has been calling on leaders to do more. These pictures, take a look, are from Councilman Josh Mitcom, who visited some of these motels people have been staying in. He and those tenants pointing out issues like bugs, water damage and mold, crime, no kitchen spaces, and families with kids crammed into small rooms. Yesterday, the mayor's office told us that some tenants will start moving into better hotels as soon as today, prioritizing those who are elderly, sick, and have kids. The city says it has also secured an agreement with other property management companies to have vacant units and take in some tenants and have leases transferred over. Tenants say this is a step forward, but there are still lots of questions about this.
Are they going to pay for the move? Where are these places located, the apartments located? Also, we lost most of our furniture and a lot of valuable stuff, are they going to pay for that as well?
Now, Councilman Mictum says the landlord must pay for humane accommodations for these displaced tenants under law, but it's the city's job to find those accommodations and bill the landlord. The mayor's office also says it has reached an agreement with the property manager and owner here at Concord Hills to waive any back rent that people may owe here so they can get a fresh start. Something else we're waiting to hear more about is the future of this building. Are people going to be able to move back in anytime soon? What will that process look like? Of course, as we get answers to these questions, we'll pass those along to you at home. We're live in the capital city this morning. I'm Angelo Bafar, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angelo, thanks. We appreciate the update there. Meantime, we have some breaking news to tell you about here in Hartford. A man is in the hospital after being shot. Police responded to the 1800 block of Park Street at about 2:30 this morning. Right now, it's not clear what led up to the gunfire. We are told the man who was shot is in stable condition. We'll stay on top of this, get you updates throughout the morning. As soon as we get them, we'll get them out to you.
The Southington Town Council voted unanimously last night to pass an ordinance that would in part honor the late State Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. The ordinance is actually broader than that. It supports all spouses of police officers, firefighters, and EMTs who die in the line of duty and who live in Southington. It will allow those spouses to forego paying up to $10,000 of property taxes a year for 15 years. There are requirements, though. The first responder had to live in town at the time of death, and it only applies to deaths after January 1st of this year. Also, the spouses must continue living in Southington to keep getting that tax break. They can apply by submitting a request to the town's tax assessor's office.